大家好，欢迎大家收看安娜看法节目。今天我们和大家聊一个大家很多人都以为是很简单但是其实容易出大问题的话题，那就是遗嘱。有不少人觉得只要写一份遗嘱，把房子账户资产都留给自己想留的人就可以了。但是真的有那么简单吗？是不是写了遗嘱就万无一失了呢？今天我们特别邀请到了大家很熟悉的安娜律师楼的创始人安娜律师 Anna Demichik 来帮我们大家把这个复杂却很重要的问题讲清楚Hi Anna, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Hi Anna, 我们首先想聊一聊大家比较容易误解的一点那就是为什么光有一份遗嘱有的时候还不够呢？ Why isn't a will always enough, Anna?
Well, the will is not always enough simply because certain assets are not governed by the will. And I know it comes as a surprise to many people, but apparently there are more assets that are not governed by the will than the assets that are, in fact, governed by the will. So in California and also in many other states, assets are divided into probate and non-probate categories. Probate assets are the ones that are governed by the will, and non-probate assets are the ones that are not. And the basic difference is that probate assets are the ones with only the decedent name on them, and they're not designated to pass to anyone else already. And the non-probate assets usually have some kind of either joint ownership with somebody else or an existing designation as to who they should be granted to, who they should pass to, should the decedent pass away.
好，非常感谢安娜的介绍。那我们再来看看，到底有哪些资产其实根本就不在遗嘱的控制范围之内呢？What kinds of assets are not controlled by a will, Anna?
So the assets not controlled by the will, the non-probate assets, are usually the assets that either have some kind of joint ownership, joint tenancy, or the assets that already have some sort of designation for who they should be given to in the event of the death of their primary holder. So the types of assets, life insurance, for example, insurance policies. If an insurance policy it has been at the purchase time designated to benefit a specific person, then a will is not going to change that designation. Let me give an example. For a man buys a life insurance policy to benefit his children in case he dies. Later on, let's say children grow up, 25 years go by, children grow up, the life insurance policy is still active. He, let's say, marries another woman, divorces, he marries another woman, he loves his wife very much. He now wants his life insurance to benefit his wife rather than his grown-up children who are doing just fine. Well, he writes a will and states in the will that, hey, everything I own and everything I'm paying into should pass to my wife, the woman he's currently married to. Well, unfortunately, this is not going to override the existing designation of that life insurance. If this man dies, the life insurance proceeds will still go to the children. So in order to change that, this designation needs to be changed separately from the will. It's not enough to simply write a will, right? So life insurance is one example. Another example would be 401k, right? Same thing, same instance where we keep encountering this is first marriage, the designations are set up to benefit the spouse in that marriage. Then there is a divorce, then there is a remarriage. Unless that designation in that 401k plan changed separately, the will is not going to override it. So like I said, life insurance, 401k accounts, certain bank accounts, if you pay attention, and you should pay attention, so if you check your bank accounts, you want to make sure that they have the correct TOD or POD designation, right? Like time of death, transfer of death designation. If there is such designation, you want to make sure there's a correct person named there, because again, writing a will and saying, okay, my bank accounts and contents of my bank accounts should go to this and that person is not going to override the designation on your bank account. So either check the bank accounts online or ask your banker if they have designations. So some bank accounts have these designations and some do not. And so by this logic, bank accounts without a designation will be probate. They will be governed by the will. Accounts with the designation will not be governed by the will. You have to change the designation separately. And the fourth type of asset, we already named life insurance, we named 401k, we named certain bank accounts, is going to be real property that is owned in joint tenancy. And the way you can ascertain it is by checking the title. The title will say in joint tenancy with XYZ. So if there is a joint tenancy on the real estate, then on the death of one of the tenants, everything reverts to the other tenant. The will is not going to automatically override it. So again, the title would have to be changed, and that's a whole separate process of changing the title. Sometimes you need to rely on certain court order to go change the title. Okay, so these four assets have to be very, very careful and change all the designations separately. Otherwise, the will, these assets are not necessarily going to go to the person named in the will.
好，刚才安娜律师和大家介绍了哈，这些资产是不归遗嘱管的。那么问题来了，如果这些资产不归遗嘱管，那么他们到底是怎么分配的呢？How are non-probate assets distributed after death, Anna?
They are distributed according to the designation. So, like I said, unless the designation is changed on purpose on every single asset, the people who are beneficiaries of these assets, who are named as beneficiaries, will be able to go and claim them in court and say that these things should not be passed according to the will. And this really creates a lot of heartache, because the way we see these cases come up is usually it's the wife, surviving wife of a man who died. She says, he loved me so much. He wrote a will. He says everything is meant to be given to me, and he has all these assets. But now his ex-wife is saying and claiming life insurance, and his children are claiming the bank accounts. And now I can't even get a hold of it. I have no money to sustain myself, to even litigate, right? So this happens a lot. And that's why it's really, really important that all the designations on all of these assets, all the paperwork for every separate asset is done correctly, to make sure that if something bad happens, it goes directly to the person you intended to. And it's not always the same person who is named in the will.
安娜律师，那我们是不是可以这样理解呢？一旦指定了受益人，他们的优先权是不是就要比遗嘱还要大呢？Can beneficiary designation override a will, Anna?
Correct. Yes, that is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Beneficiary designation can override a will.
好，最后啊，我也想帮大家彻底的搞清楚这两个概念，一个是遗产认证财产，还有非认证财产啊，这两者之间到底有什么样的区别呢？What is the real difference between probate and non-probate assets, Anna?
So the non-probate assets, like we discussed, are the ones that already have some kind of designation as to who they should go to, should their owner pass away. The non-probate assets, the only person listed on that asset is the owner. There is no designation as to what happens to this asset after the owner's death, and there is no joint ownership. So for example, if a house is titled in my name only, there is nobody else in that title, then if I pass away, that house goes to whoever is named in my will. Okay, the car title, same thing. One person on the title, this asset is going to be going to whoever is named in the will. Also, bank accounts without TOD or POD designation, right? Without transfer on death designation. Also, these accounts will be transferred to whoever happens to be named in the will.
好，今天非常感谢安娜律师的精彩讲解哈。写一份遗嘱是基础，但是绝对不是全部啊。了解资产的分类、受益人指定，还有账户的设置，就像安娜律师说的，这些都是确保财产顺利传承的关键哈。如果说大家还有更多的问题，记得关注我们 CCYP，也可以直接联系安娜律师，获得1对1的专业的建议。好，非常感谢大家的收看，我们下期节目再见。Bye, Anna. Thanks again for all your insights today.
Thank you so much. Take care.